Welcome everybody to another video of Dead by Daylight. My name is Cubeproductions, and today we're playing the Score Merchant as always, using Deadman Switch, Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, Thrilling Tremors, and a new perk called THWACK. What THWACK does is basically every time you hook a survivor, it activates, and then once you break a wall or a pallet, every survivor 32 meters away from you will scream and reveal their location for 4 seconds. Very simple perk, pretty good actually. It's basically another version of the perk but the night nowhere to hide. We also using geographical readout, which gives a 2% haste side effect and also a 15% action speed bonus to breaking pallets, walls, damage generators, and vaulting. And we're using brown noise generator, so that way everyone is oblivious when they're inside of our drone radius. But without further ado, let's get straight into the game so I can show you how good THWACK is with the Score Merchant. Okay, we're in Wrecker's Yard using the Score Merchant. So I want to talk about THWACK before we decide to play the game, of course. I was like usual, I'm gonna put my drones on the right locations. I've learned that I put a drone right here on top of this hill in this certain position. There's no way for the survivors to be able to basically do that drone without them being detected because of how the drone works. So because of that reason, I'm gonna put it right there. But THWACK and Nowhere to Hide are very similar perks. Nowhere to Hide is whenever you damage a generator, any survivor that's 24 meters near you will their aura is shown for 5 seconds. THWACK is the same thing, but the requirement is you have to be hooked instead of whenever you want. And it's 32 meters, and you have to hit a pallet or a wall. And also they scream. So the reason why I think that Nowhere to Hide is better is because when they scream, that kind of reveals their location. That kind of tells them, oh, he has a perk and he knows where I am, so clearly I should probably run. Meanwhile, Nowhere to Hide, yes, the radius for it is lower, but they don't know you're coming. So that's why you can see them. They don't get notified because they don't scream. So this person's going to keep running, but I don't really care if I'm going to down everyone I see. But also another problem I have when then someone gets exposed for some reason, so I'm going to go over here. And they're oblivious, so they don't know where I'm coming from. But it doesn't really matter because even if they run away for a long time, they're going to be running for 60 seconds. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have enough time to down them. And I thought I saw her run over here, but I was like, I know the person who ran across me, I don't think that was the right person who was exposed, but I could have been wrong. There she is. Like, I knew it was somebody, I was going to figure out who it was. But we're going to trade this person because she's exposed. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to talk about THWACK. THWACK activates only every time you hook a person, so because of that reason, it's not as good. But also the range on it is much higher. But I feel like THWACK and Nowhere to Hide can be used at the same time, or can be used for each other. So if you want to use Nowhere to Hide, use Nowhere to Hide. If you want to use THWACK, use THWACK. It doesn't really matter which one you want to do. Just do what you want. But the main thing that makes THWACK better is the fact that the range on it is better, but the requirement's kind of bad. Like, you have to basically break a wall. Not every single map in the game has walls, so you can break. If every map in the game had walls, I would consider using THWACK all the time. But I think Nowhere to Hide is better if you want to control gens, and THWACK is better if you want to try and find people. That makes any sense. And because this build is all about controlling gens, like usual, because we have Thrilling Tremors, Thrilling Tremors and Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. These two perks combined together are really good for controlling gens, and then Deadman Switch, so when they get off, the gen is blocked. Those two perks are really good. So I'm going to try to put a drone up here to get this girl exposed, because I want her to be one-shottable. But she's smart enough to realize that I'm going to do that, and she's going to run away. So I'm going to hit her. But, and we're going to chase her. This loop's really, really annoying. But it doesn't really matter. I get myself a speed buff because of my geographical readout. So I'm waiting for her to vault this wall and hit her. And then we're going to hook her. And THWACK is still active, but we have to break a pallet or a generator, a pallet or a wall. Well, this map has no walls, so THWACK's not going to be that useful. So every time someone puts down a pallet, I'm just going to leave it there and not break it. That way I can use my THWACK later on. I hooked her on a Scourge hook, so now, as a result, that that generator went down a little bit. I break this pallet, and this person screams. So now he knows I'm coming, so he's gonna run away. That's the only problem with THWACK, is they know you're coming. I feel like they should scream, but they should scream and like have a hinder size effect for like, I don't know, 3 seconds. I know it's not really strong, but the reason why I think they should do it like that is because when they scream, they know you're coming, so it's like, well, now they're scared of so they're gonna run slower. So this person doesn't have a pallet. Normally I would break that, but because I have THWACK, I'm going to save it. That way I can break it later on and see if someone's near me. Same thing with this pallet. I'm not going to break this yet. I'm going to save it for THWACK. Because even though this pallet's really, really annoying, I'm pretty sure with my geographical readout, I can just chase them and hit them before they go over the pallet. But this game is not really bad at all. We've already hooked 2 people, and they've only done 1 gen. Because our gen protection build is always going to be good with Score Merchant. So I'm not really worried about that. But I really want to show y'all how good I think THWACK actually is. Like, I don't think THWACK's bad. I think it's just Nowhere to Hide and THWACK are interchangeable. It doesn't really matter which one you want to use. Just do what you want. But for now, we're using THWACK. And I'll probably be switching between the two more ever so often because I like using both of them. And it depends on what map I'm playing on. Like, if I was playing on the area Crows, then I would much rather have THWACK than have Nowhere to Hide. Also depends on what killer you're playing too. With Score Merchant, THWACK is pretty useful because of the fact that you break pallets really fast. And I believe it, I don't know for sure, I didn't test this, but I believe it also works if a survivor has a cloud trap on them and they break the pallet themselves. I believe it still works that way. And as a result, you can see auras and be able to break the pallet at the same time. So because of this, we hit this person, she's oblivious, and then we hit someone else. She was in the basement. I missed. I'm so mad. I was so mad about that because literally I should have got a free hit right there, but I'm an idiot and I missed. So I missed that hit. Now I got to chase her for a long time, but it's fine because I can mind game her on this window, but she vaulted instead, so I have to chase her even longer, and then another gen is done. So at this point, I'm worried a little bit because if I would have downed her, yes, that gen would have been done. But it's the fact that I would have had one person on the hook, and I wouldn't have to do this long chase. But because she steps into our drone radius, we get a 5% speed buff, because we get a 2% from our add-on, and we get a 5%, we get a 3% from her being inside the drone. So we're able to chase her, but I believe we already hooked her on a scorch hook, so doing this doesn't matter. Exactly, but then every gen is block cut going trimmers. I'm going to get rid of this drone and put it back, that way it blocks this gen. Then the generator is going to be unblocked, but I know no one's going to gen anymore because of the fact that I haven't gotten a notification on my drone. I protected every gen. The only gen I haven't protected yet is the one all the way over here, which has been hit with Dead Man Switch. But I'm not going to go to it yet because I found somebody. I'm going to mind game this pallet, but they just keep running. They don't care about the mind game. But it's fine. It's a free hit for me. Then they go over the window. I believe they have quick and quiet, which is why I couldn't hear them. And they also have live, so they're going to move even faster. But this is not really a good chase for me, honestly. But if we can just get her before she gets anything special, we're good. But she vaults the window. Then there's 2 people healing right here, so I'm going to hit the wrong person. But then I realized I didn't get this girl out the game as fast as possible, so I'm going to go after her. And then I'm going to try and hook her, and hit her if I can. Then I realized, nope, I'm going after you. And then she gets exposed, but it doesn't matter, she's already injured. I love when a survivor does a drone next to me, because I end up walking towards them and they get scared, and they fail the drone, and then they get exposed. And it happens so much, it's so funny. So I'm going to put a drone here, I'm going to kick this gen. We still have our THWACK activated. Another thing I would do with THWACK, it's a buff to it. I don't think it's bad or anything, but I feel like THWACK should have like a token system where you can have more than one THWACK. Mainly only 2. Have 2 tokens where you hook a survivor, you get a token. Then once you break a pallet or a wall, you consume a token and then THWACK activates. I feel like you should have 2 tokens. It's because sometimes you hook somebody and then you don't actually use THWACK. So as a result, your THWACK is active twice, and I feel like it's a waste of a THWACK. So because of that reason, I feel like they should have a token system for it. But we're gonna pick that person up and down them really fast because he was already injured. And I found somebody over here, so I'm going to go after them. But first, I'm gonna put a drone over here because that's more important than going after somebody else. And then I'm gonna put a drone over here because of the fact that I know that's I know that Dead Man Switch has blocked that generator. But I think she's injured, so I'm gonna go after her, break this pallet after I down her, of course. I believe I hook her before I break it, right? Yes, I'm going to hook her before I break it because of the fact that after I break it, I want to activate my THWACK. I believe we haven't hooked her on a scorch hook yet, so I'm going to hook her on a scorch hook. And no gen was being worked on, so no one got off a gen, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to use THWACK. THWACK did nothing because there was no one in my terror radius. I had a feeling there wasn't because the guy just got off the hook. So I'm not going to break that pallet. Yeah, I'll use that for later for my THWACK. That fact you have to save pallets though is kind of weird, but oh well. This map doesn't have any breakable walls, so you have to save the pallets to activate your THWACK. I love saying the word THWACK, but I'm gonna go over here because I know someone's on this gen or was on this gen. Gonna kick this. And as a result, we are going to continue looking for people, but it doesn't really matter because we've already put drones on every single gen. There is no way they're going to be able to do the gens unless they get rid of my drones, and doing that will basically make me know you're there. So another healing at the hook. They heal really fast. All three of them are healing, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to go after one of them, get a free hit. He's going to run to the middle of nowhere because there's nothing over here actually. And oh no, I lied. It's already, there is something over here. It's the pallet he had tried to mind game me on one time, but couldn't get to it fast enough. So I'm going to try and chase him, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it before he can go over the pallet. Yes. Now this person exposed. I'm going to ignore. I'm going to break this pallet, of course. I was going to go after them, but I realized it made more sense to hook this person just so we can activate the throwing trimmers. No gens are being worked on besides that one over there because it's not being blocked. I already hooked them on a Scorch Hook, so I can't activate Scorch Hook Pain Resonance. But I'm going to go over to this generator that's being worked on, because I can see it's being worked on. It's going to get blocked. Drone up after we get a new drone, of course, and then we're going to chase this person, because they already have a cloud trap on them. And this is the part where I tried to see if them breaking a pallet with a claw trap on them will activate my THWACK, but she decided not to go to the pallet, so instead I'm just going to chase her through this window. I'm going to be able to hit her before she goes in the window. She already used her quick and quiet and her live, so I don't have to worry about that. Activate this drone and place a drone because I need to make sure I protect that gen. Even though I'm chasing somebody, I still have to protect my gens. At this point, they should be going for the other survivor. I was trying to mind game this window, but she just said I don't care about mind game. I'm gonna go through the window anyway. This girl is trying to body block for him, but she doesn't understand that I'm actually going after her. I'm not going after him. I love when survivors body block for each other, thinking they're protecting their teammate, but in reality, I'm like, no, I wasn't going after him anyway. So I'm going to ignore her for a little bit so I can just reactivate this drone, because I know they're on this, they were near this gen at least. But this girl is going to keep running because she realizes, even though she might be oblivious because she deactivated my drone, that I'm definitely going after her. Luckily for me, she doesn't have binds her live anymore. She just has her quick and quiet. So I'm going to hook her. I already hooked her on a Scorch Hook before, so it's not going to work. But that's her second hook. Every gen is blocked because of throwing trimmers. So all I have to do now is just go over here and put these drones back on these gens. And that's why I love this build. I know I kind of use the same build all the time in my videos, where it's throwing trimmers, Dead Man Switch, and Scorch Hook Pain Resonance. But as you can see from all the videos, it worked. Like, it's really good. Really good pro combination. So he decides to go after the, go towards the gen. I was trying to mind game the pallet, but I didn't expect him to just throw it down like that. Then this girl is going to try and body block for her teammate again. And I'm over here like, man, I don't care who I hit. I'm going to hit one of y'all. It matters. She's going to stand right there next to the pallet. I'm like, okay. And then she goes to the window. And I don't really care who I go after. I just want to down somebody. So for this pallet, THWACK activates. I see everyone around me. But it's only her, so I know that the other two people are not in my terror radius. So I'm going to go after them. Okay, it makes more sense for me to go after them. This girl is on that gen. Oblivious. Doesn't know I'm coming yet. But then she sees me at the last second and she decides to run. She goes through that window, but because this window is not high enough for balanced landing, they'll be like stunned from a giant fall. She's gonna immediately run away using live. I knew she might try to mind game me and go back, so I'm gonna go after her. And I believe this is her last hook. It'll be down her. Reactivate this drone, give myself a little speed buff before I decide to hook her on the hook. And then throwing trimmers activates, and every gen besides the gen across the map are blocked. But I believe the gen across the map is not really high on progression, because every time we hook someone on Scorch Hook, I believe that gen was the gen that kept getting, what's it called? I believe that's the gen that kept getting regressed over and over again. So now we see our THWACK is activated, and look at this key moment right here. This person's gonna drop the pallet. Now I'm gonna break it. THWACK activates, and I know this girl's right behind this wall, so I'm gonna be able to down her. And that's one of the benefits of THWACK compared to Nowhere to Hide. I missed the swing, but it doesn't matter because I blocked the window. THWACK lets you be able to see anyone basically at any time as long as you have it activated and have a pallet or wall. Meanwhile, Leprechaun Nowhere to Hide only works if you have a generator, which in theory a generator is better because the generators are stationary objects that you can always kick as long as they're being worked on. Where you can't always kick a pallet. You can't always break a pallet. You have to break a pallet once the survivors actually use said pallet. So because of that reason, that's the reason why THWACK is kind of worse. But because it lets me know exactly where they are when I break a pallet, it's pretty useful. I can chase somebody, break a pallet, I know exactly where they're going for the next 4 seconds. That's pretty useful. So he unhooks her insanely fast. But now that I have hooked her, I can add my THWACK. Break this pallet, and I know exactly where both of them are. She's running away, but he decides to hide behind a car for some reason. I don't know why he did that. He's gonna drop this pallet immediately. Mind game him. He vaults it, and I grab that net. He's mine. And now all we have to do is hook it one more time, and he's out the game. And now that we only have one more survivor to deal with, we all know this game is gonna be over. Unless you can find the hatch. But even then, it doesn't really matter because we already won. There's no way she can do 2 gens against the score merchant by herself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit right here because I have a feeling, and I was right. I don't know why, I had a really weird feeling. I had a feeling that the hatch was going to spawn up there. So I'm going to put my drones on the exit gates, of course, like usual. And if you remember correctly, we saved 1 pallet just for the off chance that we have the ability to THWACK it and see where survivors are. So I'm going to THWACK that pallet right there. But first we're going to put up our drones. That way there's no way they can know. That way there's no way they can do these exit gates. So I'm going to use THWACK. And sadly nothing happens, so no one's there. I see someone being detected. I'm going to go over here, but I don't see the exit gate being worked on, so I realize I'm on the wrong one. So I have to quickly run all the way to the other one before she opens the gate. And because of our add-on, we are actually able to make it before she gets out and hit her. If we didn't have the add-on right there, we would not have been able to do that. The 5% movement speed buff is what saved us right there from being able to get this 4th hook. It doesn't really matter even if she did escape, because we technically still would have won, and I count that as a win in my book. But because of the add-on, we were able to find her and kill her. Well, I'm glad you liked this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I love reading y'all's comments all the time. You know I love it. You know I love reading y'all's comments. Bloody rewards. I had to get 50,000 blood points in 1 match. Not hard when you're using Score Merchant and you know what you're doing. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next video. Tell me which one you like better, THWACK or Nowhere to Hide. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. One can be used all the time, but one can't. One has a bigger radius, one has less radius, but one works on gens, and one works on pallets and walls. They're both really good, interchangeable. I recommend using both. And being able to see people makes it really easy in chases, and just having surveillance on survivors makes it better for you to be able to win the game. But I will see y'all in the next video. Have a nice day.